Because back then, when my parents first learned about it, I was also still quite young. So, of course, I wouldn't understand what is autism.
Yeah.
So, instead, what my parents told me was like, oh, your brothers can't talk very well. So, I sort of grew up with that explanation.
This podcast shares personal stories and professional insights, but it's not a substitute for medical advice or therapy. If you're looking for support, do speak to someone qualified and trained in child development or special needs care. You'll find the full disclaimer on the screen and in the show note.
Welcome to an impromptu episode of the Adapting Together podcast. So in the earlier episode, we were interviewing Andrew, who is a father to two sons who is on the autistic spectrum. And if you remember, he shared that he had 4 children, and the eldest one is a daughter. And apparently the daughter was busy ironing clothes, and we invited her down here to share with us a perspective as an elder sister to 2 autistic siblings. So apparently she is not a parent of the children who is on the spectrum, but she also lived through the experience of growing together with both the siblings, right? And she has a lot of different perspective to share with us as well. So her name is Celeste Woon.
Yes, part of the Woon family.
Alright, so thank you for agreeing to do this and open up about your feelings and your story with us, Celeste, because I have to say it again, it's definitely not easy, and you are brave enough to do so. So to begin this, right, would it be okay for you to briefly introduce about yourself, what you do? Just don't say your age.
Okay.
A bit about your family also.
Okay, so as said, my name is Celeste, and currently, well, I'm doing like a normal clerical work behind a desk whatsoever. So I would say living with my 2 brothers here have been quite an experience, and it's quite a unique experience that not many people around me are able to have that.
How would you describe your relationship with your siblings?
When I see like my friends with their siblings, there is a progression, you know. Like you get to see how they fight, they don't get along, then they sort of go back together at the end of the day. But then for my 2 brothers, it's hard to even fight because it feels like they are eternal children. I don't really know how to explain that because mentally it's like they don't age together with you.
Do you remember when you were younger, when you first learned about your brother's condition, how was it explained to you?
Because back then, when my parents first learned about it, I was also still quite young. So, of course, I wouldn't understand what is autism.
Yeah.
So, instead, what my parents told me was like, oh, your brothers can't talk very well. So, I sort of grew up with that explanation about my 2 brothers. Yeah.
Do you remember like when did you really understand and come across, oh, it's not just cannot talk so well, it's actually we have more like autism come to you, then you're aware about this condition. Do you remember around when was this?
I think it was around when I turned 7.
Okay.
Because then I noticed a lot more that like, my brothers seem to be going to like not a normal school.
Okay.
They're going to centers.
Yeah.
They seem to be having a lot of different therapists, but I didn't know they were therapists at the time. I just considered them as like, home tutors.
Yes.
That are teaching my brothers. Then I also noticed that like the subjects seem easier because technically our age gap is not that far apart. But then when I looked at it, I was like, hey, I learned this when like I was very young, and technically my brother should be around that age that they should be learning a bit higher in my opinion. So that's when I realized that like, oh, okay, something is not normal here lah, per se.
And especially when you're fourth, the Arcaden, the last
Oh, then
sibling
when-
came, right? Then you notice that the gap even different.
But when Kaden come around, Kaden was like having the normal
Milestone.
like the normal milestone structure. Then I was like, oh, okay, this one is still normal, but then the other two is not. Then it's like, okay lah. That means if my parents were going to compare academic grades, it's going to be me. Not with me, not Keen and Ethan, but it'll be like with my youngest one.
Okay. At that point of time, that's your thoughts. Okay. So do you have a better relationship with Kaden?
Better now is better because now he doesn't have the SPM stress anymore. So it's like, okay lah, you done your SPM already. She did better than me.
Different syllabus.
Maybe also.
Syllabus.
Okay, then I feel a bit better. But then, he ended up doing better than me in SPM. So it's like, yay, congrats to you. So let's go eat something nice. Daddy's treat lah, not mine.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you notice your two siblings have home tutor, right? Did you in some point like, hey, why do I have to go to school? I also want home tutor.
I think at one point I did. Then I had my parents explain to me, saying like, because you're not like them lah. And they said I'd have to go for like the normal schools whatsoever. Then I was thinking like, but that is so much more easier. I want to do that too.
Yeah. Celeste, and I still remember when Celeste was younger, that time she always came in and flipped the workbook. It's like, so easy.
You are the one who come in and show off. I know this. I know that.
Yeah, and then I think I also can imagine she is feeling a bit confusing because it's like, hey, this time one teacher come in this room. This time one teacher come in the other room. And then sometimes two teachers come in different room, and then to just like giving your brothers therapies and all these things. Yeah. So for her, I think that time she also have a lot of like question mark per se, you know. But she always show herself as a very tough sister for me. Yeah. And she always feel like, like that lah, you know. So easy, you don't know man. Yeah.
Did any of these, I mean, like your brother had multiple tutors who come to the home, right? Did any of these in certain point in time made you feel like, why is that like the resources are not, they have more than what I have?
I think I didn't feel that way because in the end I also had home tuition on my own. So instead of going to tuition centers for academics lah, instead of going to tuition centers, I had a home tutor. So back then it was like a big culture shock for me when I asked my classmates around that time. Then they told me like, oh yeah, we have tuition and whatsoever. So in my head, I thought like, oh, you guys have tuition, which means it's tuition at home lah. Then you guys can easily go home. Why you guys want to hang out outside? Then they said, no, we go to the center. Then it was like, there's tuition centers.
Oh, I cannot imagine that time you have tutor, two brothers also gone. It's like so happening at home.
Because when they were starting their therapy journey and whatnot, right? I think you were still relatively quite young at that age, maybe still primary school, 7 to 10 years old, 12 years old. But comparing to when the youngest one, Kaden, came out, right? You already like in a secondary school, maybe towards your SPM or high school level already.
When Kaden started like his primary school journey, we had already moved houses, that I remember. And then there was lesser home therapy happening.
Yeah, correct.
And then also on my end, I actually went to a tuition center. So I was like, wow, I get to know what a tuition center is, right? So, but then by that point also was seeing like my brother's like resources per se they were changing around.
Any of these made you feel like I want to help my mother more than you originally would have offered or wanted to? I mean, children usually would prefer to, have less responsibility at home, do less chores and enjoy more. But did any of this situation make you feel like I'm an elder sister, I should actually offer more of my time and energy?
I think consciously I never thought of it, but subconsciously I think I end up doing it. So because when okay, back then when I think about it, I always saw like my classmates, they always hang out, like on weekends whatsoever. But then like I couldn't go out because in my head I still like, oh, I can't I can't go out to hang out with you guys because I gotta stay home, I gotta juggle my brothers. So at the time they did ask me like, oh, why you need to take care of them? Some classmates I didn't really want to tell them that like, oh, because I have two brothers on the spectrum. But then there were some closer friends that I would tell them that like, oh, because of my brothers that I can't really go out as much as I would love to. So back then most of my friends they were more comfortable enough to like, okay, like if we can't hang out, then let's just have a call whatsoever, then we just chat online.
Yeah. So you still maintain that friendship with certain friends that is more understanding. Okay.
Still have the connection with your friends, not like totally have to isolate and stay at home.
But just that I don't get the physicals of going out lah. Now I go out almost every week.
Now no problem, right? They don't need you to juggle anymore. They're pretty independent now.
Maybe Ethan, Kim not so.
Can leave them at home and with parents. At least
With
somebody
parents at least
lah.
can now. Or at least like with someone home can.
Okay.
So if let's say now you, not maybe now, but maybe a few years ago when you were going out, do you somehow feel like you cannot 100% invest in your outing experience because you're worried or thinking about your siblings?
Sometimes I had to cut like my outings short because I was like, oh, okay, I can't stay for too long. I need to go back home, like at least in time for dinner. Then while I go back home, my friends will continue go out, do whatever they're doing lah.
Yeah, it's not easy. I would in fact think that you are very matured daughter to your parents and also very good sister to your siblings. I'm not sure whether you feel that way about yourself or not.
I think you must have made a lot of adjustment and also sacrifices like that, like in order to also take care of both of your siblings to support them. Okay, yeah, maybe let's talk about some happy moments, like things like have there been any moments that make you feel really happy and proud of your brothers?
I think the one proud moment is seeing Keen take care of Ethan.
Oh, seriously?
So
touching.
there was one time where like we were going out shopping mall. So Ethan normally he will try to walk fast because he wants to go to Toys R Us. His favorite place in any shopping mall. If the shopping mall don't have Toys R Us, he don't like the mall.
Okay.
So he walked very far in front. Then Keen suddenly we see Keen like chase after him and then hold his hand and pull him back. So he don't walk away too far. Then they both walk like closer to the whole family group lah. Then after that reach to the Toys R Us there. And then we're like, wow, see this Keen like guard dog. Like the
Yeah, he want to ensure everybody are together, right? Yeah. Okay. That's a very good, good sign to see in Kin, because Kin is supposed to be one that is actually a little bit more, needed more help, right? And all this thing. Yeah. Okay. Besides that, any other happy moments or joyful moments?
Nowadays, Ethan seems to be doing quite well because he's state player. I think he's state player because now he participate under Selangor Special Olympics Selangor. So he's part of the swimming team and also bowling team. That's what I remember. And then few times he go join competition, then he gets a medal. But I don't exactly know which pingat he get.
Too many already,
yeah.
right?
I think I saw one.
Too many. Yeah, so proud of him, right?
Yeah, then after that, every time he gets a strike, he'll yay! Then the whole like bowling alley will like, oh, they know like, okay, Ethan is shouting means he got strike So there was a time when he couldn't make for it. I can't really remember why he couldn't make for it. Then my mom got the comment back saying like, wow, today the bowling alley feel very like dead because no one there to scream.
Okay, everybody know him in that place.
Kid also.
Maybe you can share with what advice you can give to other siblings that actually also have
Like same journey as you.
a brother or a sister that's on the spectrum, you know. So because some of them may be still very young, you know, but for you, I don't want to mention your age, but but you know, if advice that you want to give to other siblings.
I would say it's hard. It's not an easy path. You'll see that around you, everyone is having like a different perspective of what a family should operate as. So, but as someone with siblings on the spectrum, my advice is don't feel peer pressure by it.
Peer pressure is one
Yeah.
thing, right? Yeah.
Because you can't exactly force these people to fit into like a societal norm. So rather than trying to adopt to it, it would be better to just find like little joys in life of having such unique siblings.
Okay.
Can use more of the tissue. Really your father's daughter because he also said similar things, you know, to find little joy every day in life.
I think they've done the best job that they can.
I agree.
And you too, give credit to yourself. Yeah. Like you said, it's not easy. Yeah. So we come to the end of this impromptu episode. But if you really want to guess her age, right, just listen back to the first one where we interviewed the father. You have seen the hint there already. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Celeste. Thank you for opening up your world and share with not just us, you know, with everyone. We don't know how many people listen to it. So please share and ensure more people can hear her story as well. Okay? Bye-bye.
Bye.